I needed to listen better. I needed to create a better container. I needed to challenge my clients better. There were so many things that I needed to learn. If you did not get clients in that process or referrals in that process, there's something wrong with the coaching process that you're in. People just show up, they talk to them for an hour, whether they get something out of it or not, they charge them. That's not how the coaching industry works. It was something that I had not received as a coach. He went through it, he's like, to be honest, I cringed when I listened to that first part of the session. It was not that great. And just took me back. Hello, amazing coaches. The uncomfortable truth that most coaches avoid. Almost all of them will repeat this thing at one level or another. It's like a summarization of what they say, think, and feel. Either they will express it in some way, either they will share it in a story, or either they will share it in their frustration. The way I explain it directly is that most coaches will say that, you know what, I'm a brilliant coach. I have something to share with my clients. I have a powerful experience to take them through. But the only problem I have, I'm not good at business and marketing. I don't know how to find people. People don't know enough about the power of my coaching. That is where the tragedy is. And here's what I mean by the tragedy, because there's a palpable dishonesty in that process. And before I share towards other coaches, I'll point it towards myself, because I had this thought process where that the biggest problem I have as a coach is that I can't get people to see how amazing I was as a coach. And here's a reality that happened to me when I started coaching about 10 years ago. In the first 2 years, I was kind of in this delusional state that I was an incredible coach. People just didn't appreciate my work enough. And I didn't know where to find people, even though there are over 7 billion people on Earth, and we're close to 8 billion at this point. And as of 2025, beginning of the year, or first quarter, or the end of first quarter, or second quarter, something like that. And the reason why I share this in this way is that first of all, that delusion, that statement, that sort of a dishonesty that I had internally, this belief that I had that I was amazing, but just people didn't know how amazing I was. Even though I had worked with a few people and I was not really getting too many referrals, I was getting referrals here and there. People were not paying me that much. And I kept continuing that narrative inside my head. And then about a year or so later, I got exposed to these incredible clients, part of a community. And thank God I had a more experienced coach in there. And this experienced coach actually gave me some feedback on my coaching. And that feedback, he literally listened to a couple of the sessions, and he was very blunt, a lot more blunt than blunt in sort of a rude way as well. I'm fairly blunt with my clients, but he didn't say it the right way, but it still had a positive effect because it was direct, it was intense, it was something that I had not received as a coach. He went through it, he's like, to be honest, I cringed when I listened to that first part of the session. It was not that great. And just took me back. And he's like, this is what, and then he specifically went, this is the part I would change. This is the part I would change. First of all, my first thought is, this guy's an asshole. And then I sat with it and I listened to the session again, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of truth to what he's saying. There are things that I disagreed with, but that's okay. I can work on the things that I feel like I need to improve. And then my journey began to seek more feedback, even though it was painful to hear. And then because these were high-end clients, that opened up something. I started realizing I wasn't as great as I thought. That doesn't discount my journey, what I've gone through, the adversities I've gone through. I realized that I needed to develop better skill sets. I needed to ask better questions. I needed to go deeper in a different way. I needed to understand my clients a little bit better. I needed to understand the discovery process better. I needed to listen better. I needed to create a better container. I needed to challenge my clients better. There were so many things that I needed to learn. And then I went on this adventure of, I'm going to coach as many people as possible before I declare that I'm anywhere good. And to be honest, I wasn't even interested in declaring in my own narrative that I was good or great. I wanted my clients to say that. Not because I wanted to hear compliments, but based on their results. So I started focusing on how can I get my clients better results. And that was the beginning of my transformation as a coach, the transformation of my coaching practice. And I realized as the more I coached, the more I listened to my sessions, the more open I became in getting feedback from other coaches who were doing this. I would run after feedback after that. I knew that I knew the feeling right after would not feel good, but I knew that the effect of it would be transformational. And the reason why I share this story is that I didn't start this off to point fingers at coaches, because I'm a coach and I still struggle with certain things and I'm learning. But my business is where it is because I've been in a journey of improvement, growth, and I've been honest when it's not comfortable to be honest. And one of the biggest areas I needed to be honest around is that maybe the quality of my coaching wasn't as great as I thought. And maybe I need to work on that skill set. And the way I would work on that, not by listening to videos or courses or all that stuff, that's a small part of it. The biggest way is to actually take people through my process. I don't care if it's free or paid. I did a mix of paid and free. And improve, listen to my sessions, get feedback on it, grow, watch other coaches coach, especially coaches who have a business and they have a pulse on the marketplace, which means that they're actually charging people for their coaching, because you hear very different feedback from coaches who charge for coaching versus those who don't. And that's the purpose of our community, in Coaching Mastery community. We create a space where you get to get feedback on your coaching process. You get to hear the blunt words that, you know what, you need to improve in this area. You also get to hear that, hey, you're doing great in these other areas. But that's the first step in the journey to growth as a coach, and to grow as a business owner, to serve others, to put something out there that creates real results. Because people will pay you not because you're spending an hour or 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours with them, but because they're looking for results. And you cannot follow the model of a therapist where they show up for 1 hour, whether or not they get something out of it, they talk. And I'm not talking ill of therapists. It's just their business model is that people just show up, they talk to them for an hour, whether they get something out of it or not, they charge them. That's not how the coaching industry works, primarily because you have to actually find your clients and make in that the results will drive referrals, testimonials, and clients to stay with you and renew over and over. And even those coaches that I've met who have come from a therapy background, it's so different for them. And again, nothing against a therapy model. There are therapists that are incredible, but it's become a job for most of them. Just like any other job, you see crappy therapists and you see great therapists. But because it's become an industry that can hire anybody who wants to be a therapist or wants a profession, they go into it. Doesn't mean they'd be great. But the coaching industry, I would say, is because there is not really an industry built. You have to create your own path forward. You have to build a business. Can't be easily hired as a coach. You really need to push the boundary of your skill sets. If you're not a great coach, if you don't drive results, you will not have clients. That's the bottom line. This is aside from all the business skill sets around sales, marketing, all that stuff. Even if you were crappy at it, if your coaching was powerful, and of course there's an initial push of you put yourself out there and actually coach people even for free, I guarantee you, and you did it with you. And here are some numbers. If you did about 30 sessions one-on-one, if you're starting one-on-one, for free or a low tier, very low tier, I guarantee you will get clients. If you did not get clients in that process or referrals in that process, there's something wrong with the coaching process that you're in. And a lot of coaches get feedback from coaches who are in the same boat as them. They don't have a business. That's a very different kind of feedback. We make sure there are enough coaches in our community that give you feedback who have actually built a business, which is very, very different. And also we train you to give yourself feedback in this process. We also help you on the business side to help you understand how you can refine your sales process, your marketing process, and all the stuff that you do. But ultimately it comes down to the quality of your coaching, and maybe the starting point is admitting that you might not be as great a coach as you think. Or if you really are, then you're not really putting yourself out there and you're not doing enough sessions. And in which case, put yourself out there, test it out. The way the marketplace works is that you test out your product or service by letting people experience it, enough people, at least 20, 30 people, and then decide whether or not it's good enough or not. If it's not good enough, you don't give up, you improve on it. If it's still part of your purpose and passion, all the things that you want to do, and it's a business model you want to create. I know I'm being blunt in here, but trust me, once you admit this, you're going to change your path forward. And it's not just me. I just got off a call with Rich Lidvin in a small VIP call where he's like, maybe your coaching is not great, when he was talking to one of the coaches. And the way he put it is because she was struggling to get more clients. And he said, my biggest assumption as soon as I see that a client doesn't sign up with me is that maybe there's something off about my coaching process. Maybe there's a place I need to improve, rather than, oh, the client sucked or all the other stuff, because that's the area you can create growth and improvement. I'd love to hear your experience around this. Does this make sense? Is this real? Or have you had a completely different experience around this? I'd love to hear that too. We want to create a community environment where we all grow and learn from authentic and real experiences. Most communities don't have real coaches building businesses. They're usually business coaches or marketing coaches who tell you to build a business. While it could work, but in my experience, it doesn't work to create a powerful and sustainable business for most coaches. We are coaches supporting coaches to build a sustainable business so they can serve their clients at the highest level. I hope this serves. I'd love to hear you once again. Please share your thoughts below. Until my next conversation, hope you have an incredible day. Bye.